Hey guys, welcome to the Call to Farms podcast. I'm your host, Tim Ing, the homesteading agent, joined by my lovely wife, Sophie.
Hey friends, this is Sophie with Sprinkle with Soils. Okay, you guys, we are so excited to bring to you this new episode with Addie Bartlett, who is the president and CEO of Green Pasture Products. Now, you may not have heard of that, but you may have heard of fermented cod liver oil. And if you are within the Weston A. Price community, I always think of Weston A. Price when I think of fermented cod liver oil. And it's something that I share about because I have been taking cod liver oil when I was a little child with my family. But Addie is continuing her family's mission and legacy of providing nutrient-dense superfoods inspired by the research and the work of Dr. Weston A. Price. I love Addie and the way that she talks about her family in this episode, and it's something that I would love to aspire to with our own children and how she speaks so fondly about her family. Her family has lived throughout the Midwest, beginning as dairy farmers like ourselves before creating Green Pasture Products, and they are known for their fermented cod liver oil. Addie has a background in business innovation and marketing and brings a fresh perspective to the company while continuing to deliver the high quality products that Green Pasture is known for. So, without much ado, let's go ahead and get started with the interview. Enjoy.
Today we are super excited because we have Addie Bartlett with Green Pasture Products, and we're just excited to have you on. Now, Addie, before we dive into your story, your family story, and just your mission on how you're bringing this whole food product to the market and making America and the world a healthier place, I want to ask you, what is the biggest misconception people have about traditional oils and fats, and how is Green Pasture changing that conversation?
First of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I appreciate everything you both are doing. And to answer your question, I think the easiest way to answer it is fats are good for you. I know that there's some misconception that obviously there are bad fats out there, but healthy fats, fat soluble vitamins are within those fats. And what Green Pasture is doing is we are providing nutrient rich oils. So your fermented cod liver oil, your concentrated butter oil with those great fat soluble nutrients for your overall functionality and your overall well-being.
Okay, Addie, I know Tim wanted to get straight to it, but I have a really important question I want to ask you first to kick off is, did you already celebrate your birthday?
I did. It was in January.
Okay, so was that when you started your fish sauce ferment?
Oh, yes, it was. Yes, it is. Yep, it is in my cabinet. It is still fermenting. I'm excited for in 6-ish months, a little under 6 months, to be able to make some amazing recipes from your cookbook.
I'm excited to hear about it because I think I talked to your husband too at the Modern Homesteading Conference, and I was asking about your fish sauce because we ran into each other at the Meat Stock Conference. And you told me all about it.
Yeah, we are fully invested in your cookbook. So I'm fingers crossed we did everything. I think we check it about weekly right now. And we're like, okay, how's it going? Is it fermenting correctly? So you might get a desperate email or call from me being like, I think I broke it. I don't know what I did.
I'm definitely looking forward to this conversation. I know both of you have ties to the Weston A. Price Foundation, and we just keep bumping into each other at the Wise Traditions Conference, the Modern Homesteading Conference, as well as Meat Stock.
Yeah. Meat Stock. Yeah. We really want to first kick off and say thank you so much for your support for our efforts and what we're doing, especially with the Homesteaders United Jamboree. Green Pasture Products is our main sponsor for the event, and we are really excited because I actually grew up taking cod liver oil. It wasn't fermented. My mom didn't know that at all, but I shared the story when we were dating. I said that when I was little, my mom would give us cod liver oil, but we always were allowed to chase it down with Kit Kat. And so I can't eat another Kit Kat as an adult but what's nice is with Green Pasture Products, you have the chocolate flavored cod liver oil, and that's the one that the kids really, and the cinnamon one.
They do. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, we strive to have options for everybody. So like yourself, I grew up with cod liver oil. I've been taking it since the inception of this company. So I have vetted out all the flavors that you guys do not see today. So at one point we did try a garlic. That was strong. It was unique. We've had Mediterranean, we've had lots of different options. So I understand the experience of trying something that might not be the most palatable, but having ways to wash it down is always fun too.
And throughout the years, have your parents, because I think Eddie, you're the eldest of all the siblings, right?
No, so there's 6 of us in our family. I have 2 older sisters, 1 younger sister, and 2 younger brothers.
Okay. Did your parents ever try to put it into the food?
My mom is the queen of hiding nutrient dense food in different dishes. I would say, to say the least, for anything. I know just with like liver, she would put that in meatloaf. So I don't doubt her capabilities with hiding our cod liver oil in specific things when we were growing up. But it was a part of our day. We would all sit at the kitchen counter before we would go to school. And they're like, you cannot leave this table until you take your cod liver oil. And so we would sit there and we would all take it. And we're like, okay, we have to head to school now. It was just a part of our routine every day.
I remember hearing your dad speak. I think it was a Polyface event, and he was there and he was giving us all of the scientific data to back up why fermented cod liver oil is so great for you. And I think he had a picture, or it was describing your family and how everyone is at least 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm under 6 feet. I wonder if it's because I didn't have the fermented version of cod liver oil.
I think so.
He prides himself with how tall our family is. I would say I think my eldest sister is 5'8", 5'9", and then from there, my youngest brother is pushing 6'7" right now, and he's 17. So we have a range. Obviously, we do have some genetics on our side too.
I think that was a selling point why we purchased it right away for us.
I stocked up.
I love it.
So on that note, though, can you talk more about the unique benefits of fermented cod liver oil? And because we did stock up on it, we still have some left. Should I worry about cod liver oil or fermented cod liver oil going rancid? And then what is the good time frame for its shelf life?
Yeah, of course. What makes us really unique is the extraction process that we use, and that's fermentation. And I always want to tell people, if you look at our titling, it's called fermented cod liver oil. You can't ferment an oil. We ferment cod livers and then we extract the oil, but we're paying homage to that amazing fermentation method, that traditional aspect that our ancestors have done. And so that's why it's within that naming rights. And fermentation, it keeps those nutrients intact. It's a gentle process, so we don't add anything or take it away. We keep it in nature's balance. So you have your naturally occurring vitamin A, your D, your omega fatty acids, those antioxidants all in there already. And then we gently extract that. And then we filter out anything in it. We keep it as clean as possible. We don't add anything to it. We bottle it. And it's a simple process. And that fermentation also allows the product to be bioavailable. So that's the first part of your question. And then shelf life wise, each of our bottles actually has an expiration date on it. So you guys were talking about the chocolate. Those have a 2-year expiration date, and we guarantee it up to that expiration date. And normally I think all of our products are between 2 and 3 years on there. So you have a good time to use those up without having them expire.
And I love the packaging that you have. I believe that all of your products are packaged in a amber glass, either jar or bottle, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yep. So we really strive to have everything for our customers. My parents, when they were starting off, we are getting our livers from Alaska. So we're getting cod livers that are MSC certified, so they're sustainable. So he thought about that. And then those amber jars to protect that product. He really and my mom have thought about everything they physically could. And every day that I am back at Green Pasture, I learned something little. I was like, I would have never thought about that. And he thought about it 15 years ago. So it's very cool.
Let's talk a little bit about that. You said you're not the eldest one, you're the third one. What was it that sparked your interest in wanting to take over the family's company and manage it?
That's a hard question because it was definitely not something I wanted to do growing up. I can definitely tell you that. If you read, there's actually a blog post that I recently discovered on our website that discusses all of us kids' jobs on the farm. And to give context to where I was our cook, but I also wore heels the entire time. So I wore these 4-inch platform little boots around the whole farm. I chased cows in them. I went thistling. I did everything in those. And so my goal was actually, I wanted to go into fashion design. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into that industry. And then I went to college and I went the corporate route, learned everything I could, but I realized that wasn't sustainable for me and my family. And it was a time where my parents are getting older and they're still very involved with Green Pasture, but they're like, we would definitely be open to that conversation if you wanted to take a step back. And I played college basketball. I've been very health conscious. I went through my own struggles when you leave your house and your parents tell you everything until you're 18, and then you hit 18 and you're like, you know what? I don't think you guys know anything. I'm going to go my own route. I know everything. And I was sick all the time and I just wasn't my best self. I can definitely say that. And I reverted back over the past, I would say 6-7 years, and now have wound up helping at Green Pasture and loving every day of it. Because at the end of the day, I know that we're helping people and we're here as a family and a community. And no matter if you call, email, anything like that, we will talk to you for 3 minutes if that's all you want to talk, but we'll talk to you for 5 hours and we will learn everything about you and your grandkids or anything like that. So it's really just, it's like a home aspect at the end of the day. Long story short, that's how I got there.
I like that. I mean, that's real, where it's a path that you did not intend to take, but it went all the way back. And I love how it went full circle from when you were raised with the fermented cod liver oil and trying to rebel there, but then finding out that, yes, parents are right, which we try to tell our girls.
Yeah.
But using the skills that you've learned from school and being able to apply that and helping out your parents, that's beautiful.
Yeah. I tell everyone at our office if they have kids my age or younger and they're like, oh, they haven't quite turned over. And I said, just give it time. I'm like, they will. I'm like, I promise you, we come around. We do. We really do. And it's been such an amazing experience getting to work with my family, because when you do go a different route, like I obviously know not everybody gets the opportunity to have a family business or work in that specific industry, but being able to work with my parents and learn from them, because they're the smartest people I know through and through. And I will tell that to their face. Anyone that asks, they're so intelligent and I'm so blessed to learn from them.
Oh, that is like so beautiful to hear. It only took me like 40 years to get to that point. To tell my parents that, like, oh, you really did know it all. And
you never want to show weakness.
Yeah,
yes, no.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
That's an Asian thing. We have a lot of people who in our audience who are more DIY, more small scale homesteading farmers. And I know, you are making the fermented anchovy fish sauce from the cookbook. Now, on the flip side, is making fermented cod liver oil at home feasible, or is it better to source from a trusted company?
I have personally never tried to make cod liver oil in my own home. Obviously, each person, if they want to go that route, they can. It is a process. It takes time, just like anything. And so if that works really well for you and your family and you have the opportunity to find great sources, I recommend people that you can try to do that if it works for you. Obviously, like if something goes wrong, we're here always to help out too, but it's definitely up to you. I know that they're like fermentation, as you guys are both very well aware, it's been around for forever, and dating back to the Romans, you had fermented fish sauces and different things. And fermentation is just such a blessing and a half, and it's what we used for our storage for our food before we have refrigeration. So I think making fermented cod liver oil at home, completely up to each person if you want to dive into that. I will say, if you're going to spill it, your house might smell like fermented cod liver oil for a little while in your clothing, but don't worry. We actually are right now in the process of, we have a blog that's going out that's going through the steps to remove fermented cod liver oil from clothing. So we have you there.
Awesome, because whenever I serve pho or anything, any of our broth that has fish sauce in it, I always tell the kids, eat at the table. Do not take it anywhere else because you do not want the smell of fish sauce around your house.
More like yes. But
also an Asian thing.
Yes, we are huge proponents of fermented foods, definitely. Now, some of our listeners, they may think that cod liver oil is just a supplement. How would you explain it as a food, though, that families can incorporate daily?
So the easiest way for me to understand incorporating it into my own diet every single day is we treat it as a superfood. So we aren't adding anything into our fermented cod liver oil. We aren't taking it away. So we're keeping it in that nature's balance. So just if you go to the grocery store, you're going to buy an orange. Why are you buying an orange? It has vitamin C. I have a cold. It's very similar. I know personally that I am not getting all the fat soluble nutrients I need. I know that I'm not eating enough fish on a day to day. So it's just adding that additional boost that my diet might need. It's supporting my immune system. I know that when I wasn't taking my cod liver oil consistently, I was sick all the time. I had constant colds. I had all of these things. There was other factors going into that. But since I have started to make my lifestyle a little bit more, I want to say healthy, that's the easiest way to say it, by incorporating my cod liver oil, my butter oil, I make immune shots. I do those things. My life has completely transitioned and I feel more rejuvenated and I want to say alert would be the easiest way. And so it just, each person is different and how it's gonna work for them. But I just treat it as a superfood.
That's awesome. And I know that it definitely sounds like a family-run company, and I love that you can speak with your clients or customers for 15 minutes or 5 hours. What are some of the stories you may have heard from the people who have taken your products, maybe families or kids, and what differences has it made in their lives?
That is an amazing question. That's the best part of our day. If I get to take any phone calls, it is the best part. I think the best story that I have family wise is my husband's uncle. He heard from some different customers that they were taking our fermented skate liver oil and it was helping with their dry and itchy eyes, which when I was at Wise Traditions, I was talking with a practitioner and she had mentioned that's a vitamin A deficiency oftentimes. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting. Our product has naturally occurring vitamin A. That kind of makes sense. And so his uncle reached out and I would like to start taking the skate liver oil. Can you get me some? I was like, of course. Surprisingly, I work for that company. Let me help you out there. And got him that product. And about 2 weeks later, he texts, I think it was Trevor or his mom. He's, I love the skate liver oil. My knees don't hurt anymore. And our response back was, weren't you taking that to see if it helped with your eyes? And he's like, yeah, but I'll take it in my knees instead. That's fine. He's like, that's a win for me.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah. And every day we talk to different customers that will call in and say that they started taking a product and they have seen better immune support. Or we've had customers actually very recently. It's something I haven't heard in the past, but my father said he has. He's heard them talk about decalcification of the pineal gland, as well as I actually experienced that myself back in March. I didn't realize that you're supposed to be dreaming. You're supposed to be doing these things. And I was talking with a GAPS practitioner and she's like, yep, that should be every night. And I adjusted when I was taking my cod liver oil and skate liver oil. And I've never had more vivid dreams and it's been consistent almost every single night since March. And different things along those lines. We've had customers tell us that it's helped with their brain fog. But one very distinct customer, which is not, it was a topical product, was a mom who called in and actually told us that her son had a rash and they couldn't get rid of it. And she started using the muscle balm on it and it completely got rid of the rash. And she went to her dermatologist and they just laughed her out of the office. They're like, no, that can't help. That can't help. And she called us the next day and she's, I just want to let you know, I started taking your product in December and my son doesn't have his rash for the first time. And I'm so thankful for you guys. So it's little stories like that. We are happy to be here and happy to help in any way.
Can you tell us more? I know that
I had given my dad the fermented skate liver oil, but you also have the fermented cod liver oil, which I think is the one that we predominantly take and give to our kids. You have the flavored ones, but you also have the concentrated butter oil and the fermented cod liver oil with the butter oil. So can you tell us the differences of all of the different types of products?
Yeah.
And when to use it or who you'd recommend it for?
Yeah, of course. We do have different options for everybody. We have the standard just fermented cod liver oil, which the unflavored, when we say that, means we aren't adding any flavoring into it. That does not mean that it doesn't taste like anything. It still tastes like cod liver oil. And that right there is, it has your naturally occurring vitamin A, D, your omega fatty acids, those antioxidants. We have it in flavored options as well as capsules, just because we know some people might not like a flavor, some do. We have to have options for everybody. Traveling works really well with those capsules. Then you go to our skate liver oil, which the skate liver oil is a completely different fish. So it's a skate fish, which is a cartilaginous fish, which means it doesn't have any bone. And that's the one that we've heard the most with customers calling in and saying that it's helped with their brain fog, decalcification of their pineal gland. And with those two products, I personally take them both because that's when I see the most support for my body. I treat the skate liver oil as my WD-40. I think it helps with my creaks, with my knees, my ankles. I've had a lot of wear and tear from sports. I know a lot of my colleagues agree with that. And there's a few of them that will come in if I'm working late. And I've had one or two of them just stop by and buy a bottle. They're like, I have to run in the morning and I need this. Otherwise, my knees are going to be creaky and I don't want to have that pain. And so that's that specific product. And the reason we don't actually have a flavor profile for unflavored one for the skate liver oil is because it is a much stronger flavor profile. So it's only in spicy orange and capsules. And then we have our blended version, which is the butter oil and cod liver oil, which just, I should have probably said this in the beginning. We're based off Dr. Weston A. Price's research. So as you guys are both aware, in his book, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, he found that butter oil and cod liver oil work synergistically with one another. And so that is why we have that blended product. And we did that as a convenience aspect for parents, for families to just have both of them in one product instead of having it separately. We also have them separately solely because some people like the flavor profile of butter oil by itself and cod liver oil. And I actually am one of those people. I like to take them separately. I am the outlier. Everyone else likes them together. Will I take that? Yes. But personally, I like them just separately. It works better for me. And then, yeah. What ones did I miss? I'm trying to think.
Those are the ones that I've seen. I know the skate liver oil, there was like not a syringe, but there was a measuring syringe cup.
Yep.
Is that the way to take the skate liver oil? And should we be doing the same with the cod liver oil, with the butter oil? How does that work for like proper dosing or integrating it into daily meals?
Yeah, so we treat them as serving sizes. And so for the skate and then the cod liver oil that doesn't have the butter oil, those actually all come with syringes. They come with an oral syringe. And it's just easier to just pull that out and then just take a syringe of the 2 milliliter, I believe it's 2 milliliter serving size in there. And it's a little bit more convenient. And then when you get the wider mouth jars, you're just able to dip in. And a lot of our customers will just mix it up, either put it in the fridge or store it in a cabinet because it's shelf stable. It doesn't have to be refrigerated. So it can be either or, up to your preference. Some people really like that thicker consistency with those wide mouth jars, which the product I'm talking about is that purple label, the blended butter oil and cod liver oil. Yeah.
Okay, great. Now for kids, what is your guide for how we should be dosing for the children? Do they take less? Do we take the full 2 milliliter dosage?
So we always refer people to the Weston A. Price for their serving size recommendations. We do have that recommendation on the side of the bottle on the box, that if you get it in a box, so it'll say, I believe it's a half teaspoon, 2 milliliters, but it's definitely up to your discretion. Personally, I actually, if I'm under the weather, if I'm feeling stressed, I travel for work every week. So I am on the go all the time. I'm rarely home at this point in my life. I take a little bit more because I know that my body is depleted. My stress levels probably are higher because I'm not in my home environment all the time. Life happens. So I adjust according to my body.
Oh, good. Okay. So I need to have this while I'm traveling.
I always do. I take it about 8 o'clock at night. That's what works best for me. I really feel more rested and I do have those vivid dreams, which is great. But everybody is completely different when it works best for them. We do recommend, just for those new individuals taking our products, we say take them in the evening, because if you do get the fish burps, we don't want you to have to deal with that all day long. It's definitely up to you if you would like to do that. Not every single person gets those, but we always would rather be safe than sorry. So take it after your meal or during your meal before bed, so you don't have to deal with that all day long.
Okay, that's good to know, because we would take them in the morning and get the Kit Kat.
Addie, what about sourcing the fish? So the cods come from Alaska. Do you guys go and inspect them? Do you source them from different fishermen? What's the process like?
Yeah, so we have an amazing partner called Alaskan Leader. That is where we get our fish. They are fresh frozen MSC certified. So they're sustainably sourced, which is MSC comes in audits and makes sure that we are all in compliance to ensure that we have sustainably sourced fish. So they are wild caught, hook and line. So we know exactly where everything is coming from. They're fresh frozen and then we get them. And then we continue that sustainability and that traceability of where that product goes. So oftentimes, if we're at a conference or something like that, so wise tradition, someone will ask is like, oh, why am I filling this out? It's because we are sustainably sourced. We want to make sure we know where this is going. And so we're taking care of our ocean, we're doing our part, and we want to continue to do that because we know how important that is to not overfish or anything like that. And also sourcing in the US is such a phenomenal option too.
Yeah. So then, silly question, does that mean that the fish are wild caught or are they farmed? Okay.
They're hook and line wild caught individually. So we aren't netting anything. Everyone is an individual caught.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, there is an amazing, I think it's on our blog. We were featured, or we were not, but Alaskan Leader was featured in a documentary on mighty ships, and it goes through their entire process. I highly recommend it. I have all the respect for fishermen. I had that before this video, but when I watched it, I was like, you are amazing. Thank you for everything you do, because that is a scary job.
Wow. I'm just curious, do you know how many cod liver oils go into a bottle?
I have never been asked that. I could try to do the math. I don't know. I do not know that, but I will ask my team and see if they know how many liters go into each bottle. And
I think that would be really cool to know, and it'd be a great marketing angle too. Do you know how many fish are in here?
Oh my gosh, I'm making a note of that right now.
But I'm genuinely curious, but I also have my marketing hat on too.
I never thought about that. I actually haven't. I love getting unique questions. I've been doing this for so long. It's been a part of my day-to-day. I've never even broached that topic before.
Have you ever gone up to Alaska yourself? Have you seen? Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, Alaska is beautiful for anyone that has not been there. I have not been in a little while, but my father, when he was sourcing, he had a very hands-on approach, which is exactly what you want. Yeah. And while he was up there sourcing, us children, we would rotate through. So when he was in his busiest time traveling to events and sourcing, each of us would get to go with him, and we would rotate because there were 6 of us. So he would have a travel buddy. And the only stipulation for us to go on those events was you eat what you are served, because we were going to, if you are not from the Midwest, you don't really have a diverse palate. So us growing up in the Midwest, going to Weston A. Price events where you're going to be eating things that are a little bit different to your palate, that was the only rule. He's just, if you're going to come with me, you do not complain, you eat what is served you. And we're just like, okay. And if you do complain, you don't get to come on a trip again. And so that was our motivation to continue to try new things. And I think it has served us all very well. And Alaska was one of the trips that I got to go on. So very thankful for that.
Oh, that sounds so awesome. I've heard your dad's story, but do you mind sharing a little bit of what you remember and how he came about to start Green Pasture? Like, how did he even look into fermented cod liver oil?
Yeah, I will say that my dad is the most innovative individual, and my mom keeps him sane. They are the perfect duo. And so how we started as a company, my parents actually drove to Nebraska and bought a dairy farm with no dairy farming experience at all. Just was like, yep, this is what we're doing. And at that point, there was only 3 kiddos. So 3 of my siblings were born in Nebraska. And about a year into dairy farming, my dad actually went with our extension agent to Sioux City, Iowa. And I believe he saw the second ever talk by Sally Fallon Morell. And she was talking about Weston A. Price. And we, at that point, had a dairy farm. We had rapidly growing green grass. We had dairy cows who were the happiest cows because they were on clover and alfalfa. They were spoiled rotten and they all had names. And he's, you know what? I can make concentrated butter oil the exact way that Dr. Weston A. Price made. And that is how we started. And not very many people know we started with concentrated butter oil. And the first year we were in business, I think they sold 260 bottles, maybe. I can't remember the exact total. And we were printing the labels in-house. And I do say this like periodically, but anyone that's listening that called during the time, I think that it would have been like 2005 to 2010. If a child answered, that was us. We were the sales reps at that point when they were milking cows. So I apologize if our spelling was horrible and we had you repeat anything multiple times. But we started there. And while my dad was starting with the Weston A. Price Foundation and learning about Dr. Weston A. Price through his book, and obviously Sally's talk was influential to him, he went and started concentrated butter oil. And he wanted to find a nutrient-dense cod liver oil because, as I said before, butter oil and cod liver oil work synergistically together. And he's like, I'm doing the butter oil the way he did. How can I do a traditional cod liver oil as well? Cod liver oil, our fermented cod liver oil was formed in 2007. And so it's grown from there. I would say my personal experiences, looking back, it was, my parents worked so hard. They were exhausted all the time. And I have no idea how they kept up with 6 of us. And so we definitely give them some grief and we're very sorry for anything that we could have done during that time, but we appreciate you. But it was the best time for all of us. The memories we have living on our farm, we would have little baseball games because when you have 8 people in a family, you can have 4v4 baseball. It works. Or we could go play basketball or anything like that. So like we have all these amazing memories while we were growing Green Pasture. And looking back, everything in the beginning was all family and we all helped in any way we physically could. My job was cooking. My sisters would help with milking the cows. Some of us would take care of the kids. We would tag team everything. And so it's all fond memories and they did a great job building it.
I love the way that you speak so fondly about your family, even looking back 15 years ago, and how you still speak fondly of them now. That as a parent, that is our dream. Like hearing your perspective as the daughter who saw the parents who worked so hard and were exhausted. I almost feel like it would be an honor if Emily and Natalie grew up to share the same sentiments. I think that your parents did a fantastic job. And I love the story about how you kids were the ones that answered the phones.
Yes. And I do look back when we were growing up, when we started having a little facility and we're packaging. And I'm now being on the business side. I'm like, I was a horrible child because I didn't understand the ramifications if I had a pallet or something and I accidentally dropped it and it's all glass. And it's like, hey, I didn't mean to break 55 bottles of cod liver oil or whatever I did. And now I look back and I was like, I don't know how I thought that was okay. Like, no wonder my parents might have grayed earlier than they should have. It was us.
So do you guys still have the dairy farm? I know noticed you mentioned something about the farm, but do you guys do maybe not dairy, but any other type of farming today?
No, we don't do any farming anymore. We ended up selling our dairy farm and my parents went into they're slowly trying to relax a little bit. They actually still have a child at home. So they're dealing with my youngest sibling who has youngest sibling syndrome. But no, it definitely was a great time. And I know that we have all fond memories of being on our dairy farm, but sadly we do not, but we are blessed to have amazing farmers around us too.
Yeah. And I also think that you have all learned so much from having a dairy farm. There's nothing that teaches you about grit and having that hard work ethic that you had to have learned as a child. It's not something that they teach at school, but you learn it from the day to day. So that's just really great to hear.
Yeah, it's always crazy looking back at like the work ethic we had as children. And I don't understand how we were able to carry 2 5-gallon buckets of milk to our calves and things like that. But you just did what you had to do, and you had the support system right around you. And we lived 30, 40 minutes from a town. So we made everything we could at home. And we lived on fettuccine Alfredo because we would make our own cheeses, and we had a dairy farm so we could get cream right there. And it was an easy thing for me to make for the household. So
That's right.
got to appreciate that.
Oh, I love it. I love it that you were the cook of the family. I think that's why I think we have this special bond.
Yes, I do. I look back and I feel bad because I think we lived on waffles and whipped cream for quite a while. I think that's what I made. And then I made biscuits and gravy one time, and I actually never made biscuits again until this spring because they were so bad, and it's lived rent free in my brain. It's like they were hockey pucks. You could have played hockey with those.
Oh. Waffles and ice cream. You gotta try that.
Yeah, that's literally, I don't know. That's what I was a 10-year-old in the kitchen. I was like, this is what we're having today, guys. I made it from scratch.
Now let's shift over towards the leadership in the company. What has surprised you most about the natural foods industry as you've grown your company?
I would say the biggest surprise is how early the Weston A. Price Foundation, Green Pasture, and a lot of those companies were in that industry, and how it's exploded over in a smaller sense, but exploded over the past 8 months to 2 years range. But I would say that it's always interesting looking back that how ahead of the curve those organizations were 25 years ago when they started, and now it's starting to get talked about. But if you look back, Dr. Weston A. Price, his book was published in the 30s or 40s, and it's almost 100 years ago, and those things are still relevant today.
It's interesting. There's a local small little organic shop in a town next to us, and when I walked in, they had your products there, like on the shelf. And I eventually ended up meeting the owner and told him, like, hey, we have raw dairy. Would that be something that you're interested in? And he was like, absolutely. It just almost was like, you're like-minded. You get it. Fermented foods, fermented cod liver oil, and Weston A. Price. It's just like when I see your packaging, I think of Weston A. Price.
Yeah. And I would say that's the biggest thing that I've seen. And being able to be in a younger generation, and my friends are now talking about this, but looking back when I was in grade school and high school, us bringing our lunch was almost not frowned upon, but not the norm. And so just seeing those changes over the years is crazy.
Yeah. Okay. We do have quite a bit in common.
Yeah. I look back, I would say I self-reflect probably yearly, and I'm like, that things have changed for the better, and it is amazing to see how we're continuing to develop. And so I hope that it continues to go that route.
That's awesome. Now, looking ahead, what's the next chapter for Green Pasture? Are there any exciting products or innovations on the horizon that you're willing to share?
So we obviously are continuing to offer our amazing fermented cod liver oil. There's definitely some things in the works, and so we're working to get some stuff ready. So fingers crossed and knock on wood, things go correctly, and we might have some potential products at the end of this year. So that's what we're hoping for. We'll see. Things take time, especially when you're a small team. Right now on the horizon, our biggest thing is supporting our customers the best way we can, and always being there and providing the resources they need in any capacity. And 23 years later, we're just very fortunate.
That's awesome. That's congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the new products. I don't know what it is yet, but it's hopefully more kid friendly and adult friendly.
Yes.
And I grew up more traditionally. So like my mom, I think about it, like I used to be embarrassed by the things who were just immigrants, right? And coming from like first generation Asian American, I had funky smelling food that I would bring to school and then get frowned upon. But now with the cookbook coming out, it seems like the perfect timing with the landscape of things, that I think that's why the cookbook has done so well, because I think people are starting to realize that we do need to go back to our traditional roots, the wisdom of our elders that came before us. And so for the new wave of parents who are coming and the new homesteaders are coming who want to feed their families more nutrient-dense foods and to live a more intentional lifestyle, what is the one piece of advice that you would give them?
Ooh, I would say you don't have to change everything overnight. Baby steps. It's one thing at a time. Like, I don't have a homestead, but I am actively removing specific things from my lifestyle that I'm like, you know what? I don't think I need this anymore. And it might not be a drastic change, but it's still a change for the better. And you are using the information you have now, and there's no reason to be negative towards your past self because you didn't know that then. So just continue taking those small strides forward and they'll pay off.
I love that. Just have grace.
Yeah.
One thing,
one step at a
forward.
time. Now, if someone is completely new to fermented cod liver oil, I don't have any problems taking it. Okay. What's the first step you'd recommend that they take?
If they are completely new, I would say they should take the blended product, which is the concentrated butter oil and fermented cod liver oil, the cinnamon flavor. The cinnamon does a phenomenal job of kind of masking that. And if they are very new and they still don't like that fishy taste, I would say put a dollop of honey on it or opt for the orange flavored capsules. That's where I would start. Just some different variations. Or if you want to get crazy with it, we have some great recipes where you can incorporate the unflavored and the orange cod liver oil in salad dressing recipes, and you don't taste it at all.
Oh, salad dressing.
There you go.
Yeah, it actually works really well, and that's how I sneak it into a lot of family events. So everyone's getting their cod liver oil in that day because you don't taste it. It's a swap for an anchovy.
Okay, that's
good.
exactly.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot more sardines in our diet, and I looked at the oil too, and I'm like, oh, it has that fishy smell, but we're used to it. I wonder if other people struggle with it. But I would want to reuse the oil and use the oil as a sneaky chef kind of way where we can put it into salad dressing easily.
Yeah.
Yes, it works really well with a great olive oil, balsamic, and then you emulsify it, and then you can add whatever seasonings. I like doing it more Italian and adding some like Dijon mustard or anything like that. It's a very citrus-esque, and you can put lime or lemon or whatever you're looking for, and it balances the profiles really well. And as far as I'm aware, it's been out for about a year now, that recipe. I have had no one figure out what the ingredient is in it. So that's always a plus if someone's, I have no idea what you actually put in here.
Oh, that's awesome. As long as you're taking it.
Exactly. It's a good way to help if my nieces or anything like that need to take the product. There you go. They're 3 and 4 or something like that. So it's perfect for them.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, we really enjoyed this conversation today. We just learned a lot. I need to go take that skate liver oil too. Yeah. That's a good reminder. I'm sure our audience and our listeners really enjoyed and hopefully gained a lot of information too from this discussion.
Yeah, and we will have a link down below with a code to get a discount off if you're trying it for the first time or renewing your order. But Addie, where can people go to learn more about your product and grab a bottle or two?
Yeah, so learn more about our product. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Green Pasture Products. And then on our website is greenpasture.org, and that's org, not .com, and we're singular. So definitely explore there. You can always give us a call. We are always happy to help in any capacity.
Awesome. Great. Thank you again so much for your time, Addie. It's great to have you on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you both.